Ready or not. Ready or not. Here I come. Can't hide. Gonna find you and then yo. I play my enemies like a game of chess where I rest. No stress, no success.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Qualified Conversations, where we have in-depth conversations with those who are, in fact, qualified. Man, I'm so happy to be back with everybody. And of course, before we get this thing started, we got to make sure that y'all follow, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to our Snapchat, our Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Follow Qualified Conversations. I made up Snapchat. We don't got a Snapchat, but y'all can follow that too. You know what I'm saying?
Not playing it.
You got to follow Qualified Conversations on all platforms. Make sure you tap in and make sure you stay in tune with everything that we do, everything that we post. Now, today is a very special day. I say it all of the time, but I always mean it, and it's a music guest in the building. Y'all know how I feel about music. Y'all know how I feel about instrumentation, and I have someone in the building tonight who is super duper dope on the producer side of things, super dope on the music side of things with the knowledge. I don't even want to waste too much time on the intro. Hailing from VA, you know VA, I got a special place in my heart. You know what I'm saying? From the 757, man, we got my man DLO in the building, man. What's going on?
What up, man? What's good, brother? Appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, you already, and pause on the D-Lo. I already know niggas is out there like, oh.
Nah,
You know what I'm
that's,
saying?
facts.
But, listen, 757, Virginia. What part of Virginia?
Man, 757, man. 7 cities, Suffolk, Virginia to be exact, man. East
Suffolk,
side.
Virginia, the east side. You know, like I said, I have a special place in my heart for VA because I am a graduate of Norfolk State
That's
University.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So behold the green and gold. You already
crazy.
know
You
I'm
said
repping
Norfolk
green
State.
and gold. You know,
Question for you.
talk to me.
You ever had Feather and Fin?
Of course.
You know they just shut down, bro.
I did know that. I did know that.
I'm hurt, B.
I did know that.
I wouldn't be here for Feather and Fin, bro. Like, when I grew up, my house was 50 feet from Feather and Fin.
real?
You feel me? So
Crazy.
I'm emotional right now.
It's a chicken spot. It's one of those places that, like you said, if you're from the area, and they've expanded. Like they had them in VA. They had some out here in Atlanta.
Word.
Yeah.
I'm not hip.
Yeah.
I'm not hip. Yeah, Feather and Fin, chicken and fish. The chicken and fish hood spot. You know what
Definitely.
I mean?
You know, your
Get you
typical,
some gizzards.
I ain't gonna do
The sweet
gizzards.
potato pie. You
I ain't
feel
gonna
me?
do the gizzards. He could do the gizzards.
My mother do the gizzards, but
Okay.
I do the you know the. As a youngin, it was a thigh sandwich combo because that was like $1. You feel me? You save up,
Yeah.
get some coins, you get your thigh sandwich combo. But if you was caking that day, you would get the boneless breast. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm just putting y'all on game.
So R.I.P. to Feather and Fin, man.
Yeah, man.
Special place. Let's talk this music though, right?
Word up.
Now we got into a spirited conversation. Actually, let's. I actually want to start here, because we were having a spirited conversation off camera. But I want to get into how we met, right?
Right.
Because we met having a spirited conversation about music.
Facts.
We met having a spirited conversation over the Pusha T album, or rather the Clips album.
Yeah.
And you know, we were just talking about how dope it was. You know, one of your mans was in the building. Shouts to him.
My
And
brother from back in the day, man.
yeah, you know, and he was on the opposite side. And you know, as you were making your points, and me and your man started kind of arguing respectfully, and it was good. Again, shout out to him. But you know, as I'm kind of going back and forth with him, you was kind of on my side, or you took your same position, but we were on the same side. And I'm listening to your points. I'm like, nah, homie know music too. Like he not just on the side for the sake of being on the side. He know what he's talking about, right? So I love those spirited debates when it comes to music, when it comes to hip hop in particular. You as a producer, I want to introduce this conversation by kind of learning some of your inspirations, right? What kind of got you into producing? How did you arrive at that particular point?
What's crazy, I remember like when I first moved to Maryland and I was with my pops and one of his friends pulled up. And you know when you're a kid, they always ask you like, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Yeah.
And I said I wanted to be a producer without even knowing truly what a producer was. But I just always been into music. My pops was a DJ growing up, so I've seen the era of like carrying crates and speakers, and I've been a 5-year-old in a party with the 21 and ups and just watching how music makes people feel. You know, whether it's R&B or the Ghostface joint. Oh my God, watching like real gangsters cry when my pops played that record. So people watching and stuff like that early on, and I knew I wanted to make people move, just how that music made people move.
Okay. So as we speak about some of your early memories, how music affected you or how you were affected by music, I guess my question for you would be, what would be your introduction into hip hop, right? A lot of times when we talk about rap and back to that spirited conversation that we were having, you got to kind of sometimes ask yourself, all right, well, first, how old are you? And when were you introduced to hip hop, right? What was your first album that you bought, or what was the first song that you remember reciting word for word? So what are some of the answers to some of those questions for yourself?
Gosh, so for me, I'm born into it. So born in '88, that's the height of hip hop, right? Like I said, Pops was a DJ. So, you know, I'm a result of young parents. Pops was 19, Mom was 17. So they hip hop kids already.
Absolutely.
So when I'm riding with Mon Dukes, what's she bumping? She bumping hip hop. She playing Mariah Carey, R&B and stuff like that, Anita Baker and stuff, but it's mainly hip hop.
Of course. Mariah Carey's super hip hop.
Facts.
Super
you know,
hip hop.
The remixes, and the remix with Wu. That's an early memory. But there's one specific memory. My pops, man. So like I said, he was young.
And he was a DJ.
And he was a DJ. So at this point, he was still living with my grandmother.
Okay.
And in fact, the whole family was. So this was like some of my best memories because everybody was together.
All together, yeah.
Right. So before he's actually going out to DJ, he would rehearse, and the family just would be turned up, right? So this is like 90 something. You know, back then, your grandmothers and your aunties had these little like crystal chandelier things kind of hanging through the doorway.
Yep, we all had that.
So I'm a kid. I'm just running around the house, not just running around the house. And my pops, he's playing Rock the Bells by LL Cool J.
Yes, sir.
And so the bass from Rock the Bells was shaking the little jewels hanging in the doorway. And I'm just
the bells in the joint, so this is the whole thing.
And I'm just looking like, yo, this is making this move.
Okay.
Yo, I gotta do this. You know what I mean? Okay. But then as you fast forward, I rode my bike to buy Jadakiss solo album. You feel me? I bought Blueprint 1, Rough Riders Volume 1. You know that era. That's when I really started studying music and not just digesting what my parents was playing. You know what I mean?
Fair point. Because we the same age, and although from different places in the country, we're hip hop kids, right? So we have some of those shared experiences, and I would say for myself, I kind of, like I said, I have some of those shared experiences, right? So when it comes to outside of hip hop, even though your parents were younger, what were the other influences or the other types of music that you were hearing that they were playing? Because when you have young parents, for good or for worse, for better or for worse, it's a gift and a curse, right? And the gift is you're so much closer in age that they're really, really tapped into what's going on, right? Yep. So, like, what were you hearing in the house growing up? What were they playing? What was mom's playing? What was pops playing?
Well, that's the beauty of it, too. So, I'm a firm believer that it takes a village. I wouldn't be here without the village. So, I shouldn't even brought that up because I'm getting emotional. But my grandfather, who just passed this year,
rest in peace.
I spent a lot of time with him and my aunties and stuff like that. And they was playing the oldies, which I credit to me sampling is because them, I always like, Isley Brothers. In fact, one of my nicknames back home is Sookie because I like the song, oh, Sookie. You know what I mean? So although my parents was hip hop out, my aunties, grandparents, and uncles and stuff was playing the soul stuff, which I didn't know how the two related, but, now looking back, I sample because of my elders. I like hip hop because of my parents and my
Okay.
cousins.
Okay.
They merged because of the art form of sampling. You know what I mean? So it's just, damn, just thinking back right now in real time, like that's just a crazy
it's, and
setup.
as I'm listening to you, right, and I'm not putting myself in your shoes, but thinking about my own experiences, right? So my parents were older,
That's
right?
right.
So now I have some of those same musical influence from my parents because they're older. So they were listening to those soul joints.
Right.
And I'm getting that, but I'm also a hip hop kid. I'm also growing up in the inner city, influenced by my environment and the things that I'm seeing. I always tell people Snoop is my introduction to hip hop, right?
That's crazy.
So
Right,
so when I'm hearing all of these things and all of these sounds, and I'm like, what is this?
Right.
All my peers are trying to learn the words and writing the lyrics down, and you know what I'm saying? That whole thing. That whole thing. So, but as a person who decided to be intentional about music and not just love it, because most people love music, right? But for you, as you became more intentional about really wanting to be a student and really wanting to kind of pour into it and learn all of the different nuances of music, could you maybe cite some of, or maybe even one of, your biggest influences that really made you say, okay, yeah, like this is where we going?
Man, so it's summer of like '04, right? And around this time, like I had hoop dreams. I wanted to hoop. I'm playing AAU. I'm heading to high school and stuff like that. And also I'm playing football. So this is, you got summer workouts and stuff
What
like
position?
that. I was cornerback.
Okay.
I played 1 year, right? Well, I played my whole life growing up, but as far as high school.
High school. What year?
Like '04.
But I'm saying
freshman.
A freshman. Okay.
So it was freshman year, and pretty much after football practice. Well, let me backtrack. My pops, he was DJing, but he started to get into production. So he started buying gear and stuff like that. He bought keyboards, MPCs. I wanted to mess with the stuff, but it just looked so expensive. I was scared to even ask. You know what I mean? But so with him getting back into production and stuff, he met a friend. His name was Flight Boy, and he was a couple years older. Flight Boy.
Okay.
He's like Mr. Miyagi to me. You know what I mean? So every time every 10 years I see him, I gotta play him. I gotta pull up, and he always spank me, bro. Pause. He always kill me what he's been cooking up. He's always 10 steps ahead. But anywho, that first time he came over, he brought his computer. Again, Pops had all the keyboards and drum machines. He brought his computer and it had FL Studio. Mm-hmm. And he played a beat where he sampled Double Dragon. Blew my mind, bruh. And so this is summer break. So that next day, parents is at work. I download the demo of FL Studio, and you can't save on the demo. So I made a beat, and I kept the computer on the whole day until Pops got home.
Yeah.
Pops, check this out. You feel me? And from that moment, he like, yo, if you make 5 beats a day, you ain't gotta get no summer job. So football practice, I'm going home. I'm trying to put the homies on, like everybody at the crib, but I'm the only one that's stuck with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, Flight Boy, like it wasn't from him.
Yeah.
Like,
it's interesting you say what your pop said to you, because of course, and it's interesting that you say your pop said that to you in '04 when Kanye West drops College Dropout in 2004. He has the song Spaceships. On the song Spaceships, he says, lock yourself in the room doing 5 beats a day for 3 summers. That's a different word, like 3 summers. I deserve to do these numbers. Right? So, like, talk about a marriage. Right? Talk about, like, the synergy of being really aligned with what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
It's crazy, right? Speaking to Ye, just to transition briefly, right? In that moment, right? In that year, right? Because that had to be a special year for you.
Man.
Tell me about what his influence may have been on you at that time.
Bro, I was yayed out, bro. Mind you, the album wasn't even out yet. So, like, my AAU coach, like, he was slinging the bootleg. So, I had the yay joint on bootleg early, bro, and just the sped up samples, the congos, the percussion. The raps was crazy. You feel me? Like, oh my, bro. I was trying to make either every beat like either Kanye, or I was trying to sound like Just Blaze, or I was trying to sound like Heatmakers. You feel me? Like,
bro, he talking my language. Y'all don't even know, because shouts to Just Blaze. He's from my city. If anybody who knows me, Ye was my biggest influence when it comes to producing and beat making and all of those things. Heatmakers is, again, it's that like that Dipset era and sound and samples and all of that. So like, it's crazy how much of our story even sounds
crazy,
so similar.
Bro, crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but continue. I apologize. Yeah.
I was just yayed out, bro, and like, I just remember like just again. Just trying to make those 5 beats a day, and I just remember like just getting better. Like, oh, I'm getting nice. Like, and I go back. My pop still got these beats. I go back and listen to them, and it humbles you. You know what I mean? Because it's like you know where you started, and like to this day, like I never have a big ego because I know like I might listen 3 years from now, and it might be it's gonna have some opportunity. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, even to that point, right? We've entered into the super digital era now, right? And as we move forward and progress in this digital era, analog is going to become that much more valuable.
Yep.
So when you have these older beats with Fruity Loops, that's outdated program, sounds vintage, the kids don't know.
Trust
they
me.
weren't there, right? The
Trust
same way
me.
we weren't there for some of the older music that came out before we were born. And there's going to be a lane for that. There's going to be a thirst and a yearning for that type of sound because you can't get it anymore. You know, musicianship is going to come at a premium, and those analog sounds and so forth are going to also come as a premium. So, yeah.
What's crazy, like I didn't have the foresight of that until it started to cycle back, because we went through all era. We experienced all the eras. We went through snap music. We went through the EDM era. Trap trap music is still a big thing, but it's been different eras of trap music.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? We've been through it all. So for me to be soul chopping throughout the whole time, yes, I do trap, yes, I do pop and R&B, but chopping has always been a foundation. So like, placements that I've gotten have been from beats that's been 5 years old. You know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly
it's
what
crazy.
You mean. And so I wanna pause for the people just for a second, right? Because you're saying a lot of things, you're saying a lot of terminology that I'm aware of what you're saying, but the people may not be aware, right? So first of all, I know you all can see this particular machine that's here, right? First of all, explain what this is. And explain what this is.
First off, it's gonna sound cliche, but this is what saved my life as a youth. You know what I mean? Even as an adult, it's a lot of trouble that I avoid because I'm in the basement cooking. You know what I mean? So like my teenage years, the homies getting in trouble, I'm locked in. You know what I mean? So that was the 5 beat a day. That was he was keeping me in the house. I'm on to his manipulation now. Pops, I'm on to your bullshit, man. I see what you did there. But now this is an MPC, so it's a drum machine sequencer, and this is one of the newer versions. So it's more digital and a mix of analog compared to like the older MPCs, but it's more efficient because it's it's faster, more memory, more storage. It's just more technology. You know what I mean? But I'm still one of the rare ones, because most people, I never thought it would happen this way, but most people only use computers to make beats. You know what I mean? So, and no knock to that, because I use computers sometimes too, but I feel I'm my freest when I'm using hardware, because I get to actually be expressive in my movements, and me moving like this affects the timing of how I play the snare or a kick or a hi-hat. You know what I mean? So I'm going down a rabbit hole, but yeah, this is an MPC, a drum machine. Okay. And a lot of your favorite records was done on MPC. A lot of your favorite producers was using MPC back in the day. Jermaine Dupri, we talked about Mariah Carey. A lot of those Mariah Carey hits that Jermaine Dupri made on the MPC. RZA, Just Blaze, you name Jay Dilla.
Oh my
You name them.
Yeah.
Battle Cat. Oh my God.
Battle
like,
Cat slept on by the masses, but by the ones who know.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
That boogie, man. So
yeah.
MPC, man. I'm an MPC advocate. I'm not sponsored or paid by MPC. They just dropped a new one today. So if y'all see this, come on, man. Send me what's due, man. 20 years plus using MPC. I need my MPC, man.
That's a fact.
Y'all gonna talk to my guy. Man. I'm gonna talk to my guy. He gonna get the details.
We gonna get it right. We gonna get it right. Absolutely.
This episode is unofficially sponsored by Kai.
That's a fact.
This is a world premiere.
So, when it comes to the Akai, which is what we have here, you said you were, a super advocate of this particular machine. Are there any other production tools that you use or like to use, or do you kind of stick to the MPC for the most part?
So right now, I just stick to the MPC. That's what I started out on. Well, started on FL, and then again, already had the MPC and keyboards. It's just like, all right, this just can't keep sitting and collecting dust.
Yeah.
So this is again before YouTube and stuff. So I had to, lock in and teach myself those machines, and from there it was like no going back. But then life happens. You want to relocate to Atlanta and stuff like that, and you have to sell gear and all of that. Mm-hmm. So for a couple of years, I was using FL Studio, used Logic.
I love Logic too.
Logic
production,
Logic is solid.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the computer. So I lost, like the computer crashed, and I just lost probably 3 or 4 years worth of beats. And I'm like, bro, I'm not going through this again. So I'm moving back to MPC, whereas I felt like it's more dependable. You know what I mean?
It's stored.
Yeah, it's
right
stored.
As long as you have this, you have what you need.
Exactly. So that's why I moved back to MPC, just because
I'm not mad, bro.
I can count on it.
I'm not mad, and that's what we're saying, man. Analog, don't sleep on analog. Analog is the you know what I'm saying? Because it's reliable, it's dependable, it's always going to be there. So you're an MPC guy, and you talked about how you kind of became super intentional about making music and making beats. Pops told you the 5 beats a day type of vibe. I want to fast forward a bit, right? Let's fast forward to your teenage years, where you're a little bit older. We're about to graduate high school, and the transition between high school and I'm not sure. Did you go to college?
Did some college.
Some college,
yeah.
Right? Talk about those years as it pertained to what was happening in life for you, and how music related to that, and what was kind of going on and happening.
Right. So those years, again, starting so early, by the time it was time to graduate, I was already doing.
It was polished.
I was polished. I was making money from it. At this point, we had a commercial studio, so we was out of the house. Nice. I'm running sessions. Got commercials on TV.
Oh man, you doing that.
Document, did it all, right? Mm-hmm. So at this point,
is still, because you started in Virginia, and I know you moved to Atlanta. So were you in Virginia? Were you in Maryland? So you're in Baltimore at this
Baltimore,
time. So you graduated high school
in Baltimore. Yeah,
okay, in Baltimore. Okay, continue.
Well, just outside of Baltimore,
Gotcha.
to be exact. For those who want to in
the
area who want to,
what high school you went to? What?
Yeah. Old Mill, man. What up? County. But yeah, so I feel like I was so, I don't want to say arrogant, but I was confident in my ability. I just didn't think that I needed school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And so I tried though. I did a semester at a community college, and then me and the homies decided to take a trip to Miami for spring break. and it's 2026 and I'm still on spring break. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, because me and the homies we didn't do the spring break, but we went to Miami.
Yeah, so you know, so
yeah.
I will say though, I did go back, you know, after trials and tribulations in my late 20s, I went back and got IT certifications and stuff like that. But at that time that I'm speaking of, I was, you know, partying too. You know what I mean? So at some point I'm locked in. Now it's like it's time to experience life. So I'm locked in making music, but what we doing after the studio? You know what I mean? Yeah. And coming up, you know, DC and stuff like that, like.
Club love.
Club, bro, love, bro. What you know about love,
Come on, man. I've been outside.
Yo, love, like.
You know what I'm saying? Stadium.
Yes, some of my best nights was in Love, Ibiza, Fur.
You been to Stadium?
Stadium once right before I moved here, because that was fairly new. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at that time, but when you went, I'm sure you had a time.
Gotta stay out of them joints.
You do.
Stay out of
Because in fairness, I only been twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
It is.
But for me, it never changed from a 5-year-old. It never changed. So no matter where I'm at, to this day, I'm still.
The mentality is locked in.
People watching. Like, even when I'm in Stadium, KOD, like, I'm still, like, I'm not observing as, like, the average person. I'm observing, like, oh, no, she's an artist. You know what I mean? She actually, she danced in real life, like, do ballet. You know what I mean? You can
your creative brain doesn't turn off.
Yeah, you can see technique when you see technique. You know what I mean? Not sound like a creeper now, but you got to appreciate the arts.
But I get it, because, and again, I'm not by no means saying that y'all are the same people, but when you say things like that, you sound kind of like a Ye, right?
Wow.
From the perspective of him just being so creative and so artsy, he's looking at things like it's art, right? Like, and so, but that just speaks to, again, you just being and walking in your purpose at all times.
Fact.
No matter what the setting is, no matter what the environment is, you're always walking in your purpose, right?
That's real.
So around that time, you were kind of you was making some moves, like
making moves, but then you don't know like real life. You don't know
time,
like okay, I'm making money to pay my car insurance and phone bill, but what about when you was trying to move out on your own? How you gonna really cover the rent or mortgage
or the travel to get to a different
state? You know what I mean?
So
it hit different when it's like, okay, this was enough to support me when I was living with my folks.
At home, yeah.
I'm trying to be independent. I got a shorty doo-wop, you feel me, wifey, and now, my parents ain't raised no slouch, so I got to take care of the crib. So it's like, okay, now what are we going to do? No kids.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so, just got to, at some point, all right, life gets real, so what do you do now? You know what I mean?
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
What you got to do.
It ain't, so this has been, the fact that I'm right here talking to you right now, I'm in my second, like Nas said, second childhood with this right now. Like, I took time away to get life together, to get life in order. So now, life is life. It's life all the time.
Life is life.
But now I have the flexibility. And also, I'm intentional, and I make time to do this, too. You know what I mean? It's not
Every day.
As a teenager, you do it because
it's cool, you love it, you're good at it.
We could be anywhere else, you feel me? We made a conscious decision to show up here today. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, I don't want to get too close to present day, but I do want to speak to, I should say, I want to fast track just a bit, right? Music, you mentioned already, went through a bunch of different eras, right? It changed. We go from early 90s, super boom bap, to mid 90s, more money's being introduced. 2000s, early 2000s, you got snap, and then your trap, and then, all these different eras, right? I want to take us to the 2010s. And the reason why I want to go to the 2010s, because that's a very, very important era. In our lives and in music too.
Yeah.
Right? From 2010 to 2020, very crucial.
Yeah.
A lot of crucial music was created, made, eras, so on and so forth, right? So when we speak about that decade in particular, do your influences change or do they remain the same? Talk to me about what your vibe was during that decade,
So
2010 to 2020.
that's one thing I wish I can go back and change.
Okay.
Like as far as my mentality back then, because I was again so locked in. 2010, I'm really at the height of like my creativity. So the music that was being created at that point, I'm not listening with fan ears anymore. I'm listening like I'm competition. You feel me? So
Yes.
when a Drake come out with the best I ever had, I love the record, but at the same time, like I got the Arthur Fist because it's hard. You feel me? And I didn't make that beat. You feel me? So it's for me at that time. It was I didn't really appreciate the changing of the guard. You know, with the Wiz Khalifas and Mac Millers,
in it.
and
You was in
I
the
was
field.
I was
You was in
locked
the field.
in. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I do what they do. You feel me? Like so now when I go back,
You get to
I was
appreciate
just
it
like, I
differently.
get it.
Yeah.
So now that's a
Okay.
life lesson that I learned. So now that I'm back in my full creativity, I'm also digesting music as a fan too. Because back then
That's
I
important.
was so locked in. I'm like,
It's interesting you say that, right? Because for myself, right, I deem myself as a musician first and a producer second, but a producer at heart because I'm just always used to just producing whatever the forum is, right? So it's interesting you had that mentality then, because for myself, how they always say you got to visualize it first. Like I always saw myself already there, right?
Yeah.
So like, although I may have been inspired by, the music that Currency was making, or the Kanye with the sampling and all those different things, and I saw myself like I just always saw myself as their peers, no matter what, call it delusional or whatever.
Right.
And so that competitive spirit kind of always existed, but I just always saw myself as somebody who belonged. So it was never like and I'm not saying that you had like a weird energy towards it, but it was never like a weird energy in that I was upset.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, all right, let's get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Similar, right?
Similar,
Because you had the same kind of mentality, like, oh, you did that, well, watch what I do.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But it was more like if you playing horse, right? And your man is on R,
Yeah.
and he do something crazy, and it's like, oh, all right, bet I'm about to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I always kind of had that mentality, right? I do think though it's an important point that you made
to always stay present,
Right.
right? And to never get too lost in, I guess, basically emotions.
Yeah. Well,
Or how would you describe it?
I would say, yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
you don't want to necessarily call it.
Yeah, but it's weird though, cause like, damn, bro, that's weird, bro. It's weird, cause at the same time, like that was like my prime time of clubbing and stuff too. So like,
An experience.
I can say like, anybody who was doing anything close to what I was doing, I wasn't really hearing. But like if Waka Flocka was on, like I'm turning up
Because
you
it was
feel
so
me?
different.
It was so different.
Okay, so
but-
basically
What you're saying is anything that was closer to the vein of what you did,
right.
it was more. You felt more that competitive,
Like
thing.
damn, like yeah, these niggas that much better than me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like yeah.
Okay. I got you. That's an interesting point. That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
I never looked at it like that, but that also does make a lot of sense.
And a lot of this stuff I'm processing like right
In real
here,
time.
right
Yeah.
now, you know what I mean?
Well, here's something I want to process for the people, right? You mentioned in passing that, of course, you were doing a lot of things as you were younger, and you had these placements, but I heard the word placements, right? So, for those who don't know, a placement, or how about this? What is a placement?
Man, a placement, man, is one of the greatest things when you're a producer. So it's when a artist, let me explain the process because it's a process, especially in today's time. So they do a lot of emails these days, right? So you make a beat, you in your crib, and you come across Nas's email. He got 3,000 other people sending him emails. So it's like having a baby. You feel me? You get that one beat that make it through.
Got you.
He reads his email. He checks his email. Right. That's a lot in itself for it to even cut through.
That's a small win.
Small,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean?
Small, big win, but small win.
So he press play on it. He likes it. He downloads it. You know what I mean? I want to write to this. He writes to it. He record it. He actually likes the song. You know what I mean? So now he want to put it out. So it goes through a lot of steps before it's even considered a placement because he can hear it, not use it. They can like the song and not make the album. So it's when an artist choose your beats, they make a song, they record it, and decide to release it to the masses.
Stop. Repeat that because that's very important. You said it's when the artist chooses your beat.
They record the song and like it enough to release it to the masses.
That's what a placement is. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so
that's what a placement.
So I got a caveat today as far as how I operate today. Okay. So because I spent so many years chasing placements that's not even my thing anymore. So
can we dive into that for a quick little second?
Yeah.
What do you think it was? That made you, was it just the excitement of being, picked up by somebody who was reputable? Like, what do you think it was about you in those years or in that era for you that had you chasing placements?
That's how producers ate. You know what I mean? How else you gonna eat if nobody's rapping on your beats or singing to your beats?
So maybe the better question is, what made you revert away from that particular way of thinking?
One, because it's when you passionate about it and you love what you do and you feel like you're not being heard, it affects your mental health. You know what I mean? Secondly, as a man, that's like the equivalent of depending on somebody. You know what I mean? You're not dependent on nobody. So what I'm going to do is put my future in my own hands and take this MPC on the road. You feel me? Okay. Make the beats, make beat sets, do live shows with it, put out instrumental projects, put out merch, throw shows, you know what I mean? So now I'm the act, I'm the artist. I'm putting out my own projects where I don't have to depend on somebody rapping on my stuff. I can just pour into my art how I want to do it. It can be as niche, as abstract as I want it to be, but my core audience is going to support it. You know what I mean?
Speaking of, right, just as an alley-oop, do you have a website?
I don't. Bandcamp.
Or better yet, I would say a link, right, where people could become right now instantly a fan. That they hearing you talk, they like, I want to check some of his stuff out.
Word, yeah.
Right? Is there a place where they can do that, where that is actually housed?
Yep. So just go to DLO_music on Bandcamp.com.
Okay.
Or just hit me on IG, and everything is really there on my social media as far as like my shows. I'm out of state, I'm out of town, on the road with it. You know what I mean? And it's like the shirts, the merch, everything is there.
Cool. It's so important. Again, that that thing that I identify with, right? Because when you talk about merch, first of all, merch is one of the most powerful tools that entrepreneur can have in this day and era. Really always, but especially in this day and era. This is why, this is Qualified Conversations, and we have these qualified shirts that are available now for purchase, right? We have these cups that are available for purchase, right? Like your merch, your branding, all of these different things are super important to the overall machine, right? And as an entrepreneur, you've had all of these different, I guess, peaks and valleys, right? Of course, you're a producer, but you're an entrepreneur, right? Because you just talked about shows, you talked about merch, you talked about events and all of these different things. Is that something that you accepted early, like, I'm also an entrepreneur, or something that you had to learn later on in the process of just kind of going about what it is that you do?
It's something that was always there, but it was second nature. That I didn't know it was a skill. I didn't know it was a mindset. It's like being 7 feet. You know what I mean? And being a natural hooper. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just You might just it's just who you are. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's just who you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Need some motherfucking therapy to free my mind. I need some motherfucking clarity to see the signs. I need a motherfucking hug from my ancestors. Maybe they whisper all the answers that I can't find. Maybe we have a conversation via AI. Jesus can hit me, we can chop it on FaceTime. Maybe he sent me a little grace on Cash App. For other times I fed the homeless and gave the cash out. She in love with my pain and she in love with my art. I'm in love with a brain and I'm in love with a heart.
All right, so let's do this, right? Because unfortunately, when we get into these type of conversations, I can have them all day, and I feel like there's so much that we haven't even, gotten to. So I want to make sure we don't miss anything, but I want to kind of switch gears really quickly, right? You lived a bunch of places.
Yep.
Really quickly, do you have a favorite city, favorite state, favorite place that you lived, or favorite era?
So over the past couple of years, I've been moving around, bruh, and I can say it was never quite on my bucket list. But I went to Chicago back in September, bruh. It was so beautiful, dog.
I keep hearing about Chicago.
Chicago is a beautiful city, bro. Like, the food was good. Yo, was mad love out there. The people was genuine.
It's a music town too.
But it was cold when I went, so I can't wait to go back in the summer. You know what I mean?
Always hear. I have no desire to be in Chicago in the definitely not in the winter. Fall is pushing it. Yeah. September seems like it could.
It was chilly already,
6,
bro.
7.
Yeah, it was chilly already. Come on, dude. Yeah, Miami, of course. I love Miami. Okay. Everywhere. I feel like, God has been good, bro. I feel like everywhere I've been going, I've been feeling like I'm home.
Yeah.
Like, not on no hard, tough guy, but if you come in peace and you show giving love, you will feel that love, bro. Like, I went to Boston for the first time last year. I went there in January, bro. Now, you talking about cold. That's a different type of cold, bro. But Boston was love. I opened up for Raekwon out there, bro. That was a full circle moment.
Shouts to the chef.
Man, so yeah, Boston, Cabo. I just love to travel, bro.
You love everything.
So outside of music, you know what I mean? Like, one of my favorite things to do is travel, but I'm usually bringing this with me, and I cook up beats just to get that, and that change of that different scenery. You know what I mean? So that's my thing.
And I said we were going to switch it up, but I don't want to leave without you at least talking about the different placements that you already do have. So talk about some of the placements that you do have with some of the artists that, people I'm sure will recognize once you say it.
Got you. And it's, I got a couple. It's not many. You know what I mean?
No. What we're not going to do is we're not going to diminish your accomplishments because you haven't gotten the Grammy yet.
Got you.
Right?
For
We're not going to do that because what you've done is amazing and you should be proud of yourself. Yeah. So again, let's reintroduce this.
For sure.
Please tell the people some of the placements that you've already got.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
So my first placement was as far as with the well-known artist was with Jim Jones. I can't think of the name of the song right now. That's crazy. But Jim Jones was my first placement. I got one with West Side Gun and Stove God Cooks. Joint called Word to Lizzo. I did a record with Shay Noir and Ransom.
Shay Noir's fire. Ransom,
called
Big Jersey.
Called Peaches and Herb. Crazy.
That's fire.
Did one with Lady Jade. Miss Jade. I'm not sure if she was signed to Timberland.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm missing. I can't think right now, but those are the ones.
Heavy hitters, man. These are heavy hitters, man. You speak about West Side, right? For example, right? West Side being from the Griselda camp, or really, most people would say the mastermind behind the Griselda camp, right? And for a long time, we know that Atlanta took over, and of course, respect to Atlanta, we're in Atlanta.
Facts.
Atlanta took over hip hop, the sound, so on and so forth. Griselda is cited as one of the groups that brought that sound back and that energy back to New York. Even though they upstate, you had people from the city claiming New York or claiming them as New York again because they so prevalent. So West Side is major. Shay Noir, very underrated MC. female MC for those who
Shout
may
out
not
to
be
Nas for
familiar.
giving her the shout out on his last album too.
Amazing. That record is fire.
Yeah, that's
He
crazy.
does all of the shout outs to all of the female MCs. Super amazing. Check out Nas's latest album, Nas and Preem. And you said Jones, of course. You know Jones. Shouts to Jones. These are some big names, bro.
Well, true.
Like I said, like it don't matter that it ain't 100 people on the list. The people that you named ain't like, oh, I never heard of him. I never heard of her. Like, nah, they lit. You know what I'm saying? So, again, salute to you and shout out to you. I want to give some quick hits, right? Some random rapid fire questions. These are questions that I don't have any idea what I'm gonna ask, even as I'm saying it right now, right? So I'm just gonna kind of give you a series of questions, and you tell me what's the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yep.
Let's start with summertime.
Summer Sun. I'm born in July. I call myself Summer Sun, so you know.
July what?
July 8th.
Okay, so you.
And my mom is the 4th. You know what I mean? I'm a Cancer. Yeah.
Cancer. Okay.
And I like long walks on the beach.
Shameless plug, right?
ChristianMingle.com. I'm not trying to get us canceled. I apologize.
Hey, nah, they can't cancel us off the Christian.
I'm a Christian, though, so that's cool.
They can't, come on. God is good all the time, okay?
And all the time.
God is good.
For sure you're right on.
That's just how that go. Okay. Shout out to the summertime vibes. Let's go with fashion.
Yep.
First thing that comes to mind.
So first thing that comes to mind, fashion is, I don't know, bro. I think Wu-Tang for some reason, bro. Like,
okay.
Just so growing up in the 90s, like Virginia as a whole was heavily influenced by Wu-Tang. So like the Wallabies, the Timberlands, the Polo, you know what I mean? Snow Beach and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I just think Wu for some reason. Wu wear and you know that's
Wally's was crazy. Yeah. Shouts to the Wu for bringing that to the game. Yeah. Let me see. First thing that comes to mind. Actually, switch that. Give me your top 3 favorite movies of all time.
Damn, bro, that's tough. So
I know it is.
I gotta go. I'm gonna go motherfucking. I'm gonna go Friday.
Okay, classic.
Friday. I'm gonna go A Bronx Tale.
Ooh, also a classic.
Super
classic. That's yeah.
I can't. And the Rough Rider and Rockefeller documentary Backstage, bro.
Backstage. I gotta dap you on that just to keep it hip hop, because if y'all haven't checked out Backstage, it came out in '98. Like he said, it's the documentation of the Hard Knock Life tour. It was, at the time, the biggest rap tour to ever happen. It happened with no violence, which was a super big deal because they were trying to cancel him for it. Any artist that's never seen it, young or old, you should definitely check it out. I like that.
I watched that a lot. Just
I like that.
You know, just as an aspiring as a kid, not even knowing I was gonna be doing music, I just wanted to be on tour and experience that life and stuff. You know what I mean?
That's fire. I rock with that. Okay, I rock with that. All right, and we gotta make these a little more difficult because you smoked that. I wasn't even ready for you to kill that one like that. All right, let's go with, if you had to put into words what music means to you, what would you say?
Man, music is the soundtrack to my life. Like every moment moment I can think about, there was something in the background going along with that. You know what I mean? And I can hear a song today that takes me back to 98, that takes me back to 95. So, and actually I kind of calculate my life based off or what was going on in my life based off the music that was going on at that time. You know what I mean?
Okay. So of course we love music. So I'm going to go to another thing that we love. Let's go with top 3 childhood crushes.
Man, Kelly Rowland, and Kelly Rowland, bro, all three.
Okay.
Now my followers on IG know, so like me and Kelly, we got a real thing going
Is that
on.
right? Okay.
So you might see pictures of us on my story like every other week. Y'all follow me on IG, Welcome to the Low Life, and you will see the inner
y'all
workings
together.
of me and Kelly's relationship.
Okay.
That's a real thing.
So Kelly, and Kelly.
Kelly, yeah.
Okay. Shout out to the brown skin women. That's amazing because Kelly is now.
She's just so classy. You feel me? Like she perfect, bro.
Yeah, I can't say nothing about that. You sports guy?
I play sports, but I don't necessarily watch sports.
You don't have like a team or anything like that.
Dallas Mavericks is technically my basketball team, but I haven't been
you.
following to. You know what I mean?
It's cool. You ain't even gotta explain. I'm a Mavericks fan as well, so we good. Listen, bro. Y'all about to see way more going on here because there's way too many similarities. There's way too many vibes. Like I said, we could sit here all day and talk forever about music, about childhood crushes, about all of the things. Unfortunately, we do have to, end this particular episode. So I do want to keep everyone abreast on everything that you have going on. You mentioned it just a time ago, but please let the people know where they can follow you, stay in tune with you, and all things that are happening with you.
Yep. Again, it's your boy, Welcome to the Low Life, so you can follow me on all platforms, all streaming platforms. Welcome to the Low Life. That's welcome, the number 2, DLO Life. Got projects coming, placements coming, shows coming. Catch me in a town near you. Also started a group called the 25th Hour with me, the legend Wavy Wallace, and the legend Phil Nash. We're a production group and artists. So we're dropping an album and we're doing shows as well. So be on the lookout for that.
Definitely be on the lookout for all of the things that he just mentioned. This is another episode of Qualified Conversations. I got a feeling this is not the last time you're going to see this gentleman right here, whether it's here on this couch again, which will probably happen, or it's just online when y'all tap in and follow him on all of the links that he just provided for y'all, or if it's me and him collaborating, because all of these things are absolutely positively in the works. Man, it was a pleasure having you come through, stopping through. Shout out to all producers. Shout out to all music lovers. If you enjoy this episode, please make sure once again that y'all stay tapped in and y'all follow all of our social media platforms at Qualified Conversations. I'm your host, Jerz, a.k.a. Life As I See It, and we will sign off the same way that we do each and every single time. So until next time, everything real.